Well, well, well. Look what the cat drug in. Not you again. Where have you been? Get comfortable and have a seat. Because tonight, my dear, you're in for a treat. Tonight we have some haunted tales from healthcare heroes. Let's subscribe and ring the bell. I'll see you inside. Okay, so in 2020, at the beginning of COVID, I had just given birth. At this time, I could only have one other person in the room with me my entire stay at the hospital. Of course, my kid's father was there, but like the third day, he left to go clean up our house and get everything prepared for me and the baby. I had gotten sick and I had a C-section, so I had to stay for about 4 or 5 days. Well, while he was away, a nurse named Kelly said that she would be helping me throughout the day and spending time with me so I didn't feel lonely while Dad was gone. I couldn't really hold my baby due to me being sick and in pain from the C-section, so my nurses would come in every time it was time to feed. I noticed that when they came in, they wouldn't acknowledge Kelly, and she would go to the farthest part of the room, and she would tell me, I'm just gonna get out of the way. Now, she did tell me that she didn't specialize in what they did. She was just for comfort, so I didn't question anything. The entire day, she was so helpful and encouraging me, and I really believe I would have broken down if she wasn't in there with me. She was such a sweetheart. Well, after about 5 or 6 hours, she told me she had to leave and that she would come visit me before her shift was over to see how I was doing. She hugged me and blew a kiss at the baby and walked out of the room. Well, later that night, Dad came back and he was very upset. He told me some stuff had happened with his mom and that he was sorry he took so long. I mean, I was upset, but I did tell him a nurse named Kelly kept me company. And as I'm telling him about her, my nurse is changing my sheets and she's like, "Who's Kelly?" I explained and she said that nobody named Kelly was in my room or working that day. So I instantly thought about those women who would pretend to be nurses and kidnap children. But my nurse told me that I may be hallucinating, and so she told my doctor. I mean, I talked to my doctor, and he said the same thing as she did. Well, a couple hours later, a nurse that I didn't recognize came in my room and said, "I know this might sound kind of crazy, but everyone on the floor is talking about you seeing Kelly." I said, "Yeah, she was in here with me for like 7 hours today, and she really helped me out a lot." We're smiling and laughing, and while I was telling her about Kelly and how sweet and funny she was, she pulls out her phone and shows me pictures of her and Kelly that look like to be about maybe early 2000s. I was smiling, knowing that I wasn't hallucinating. Then she sat down and told me that Kelly died over 10 years ago from domestic violence with her boyfriend. I wasn't too shocked because my entire life I've been dealing with paranormal. But I got chills because I never had an encounter this deep. Well, The lady gave me a hug and started crying and saying, now I know that she's okay. And since that day, I've been wondering, why did Kelly come in my room and help me? I kind of wish I could see her again. Many years ago, I worked at a hospital that is like super old. It was originally built in the 1850s and then expanded upon. The wing of the hospital that I worked in was one of those more original wings from about like 1910, and it looked like it had never been updated. Still had the brick walls, brick floor, older windows, etc. This was a Catholic hospital that had an old on-site nuns covenant because many of the nuns worked as nurses. Well, one night, it's like 3 in the morning, and all the nurses and CNAs are sitting around at the nurses station just chilling. It was a really slow night. All of a sudden, down at the end of the hallway, we hear a door slam, which is weird because everybody on the unit had a bed alarm on. So I go and take a look at everything just to make sure that somebody wasn't up there without a bed alarm going off. At the end of the hall where the noise came from, there's a vacant patient room with a light on in the bathroom, which is super weird because we never used this room. Well, we hadn't used it in 2 weeks since the window was broken and it was being repaired. We were temporarily using the room as a storage room, so there was no reason for the bathroom light to be on. On top of that, it was such an old building that the bathroom light was a pull cord above the sink. So there's no way it would have been turned on accidentally. So I go in, I pull the cord, turn the light off, and head back down towards the nurses' station. Before I'm even halfway down the hall, the doorway of the main room, I hear the loudest bang of my life. I thought for sure I was going to wake up the entire unit screaming. Thinking something fell, I peeked back inside the room. Nothing has moved. Nothing has changed. Except the bathroom light is back on. I immediately said nope and ran back to the nurses' station. And when I got to the nurses' station and asked out everyone if they heard a second loud bang, everyone had said no. So I refused to go back in that room whatsoever since then.